Red Bull's RB20 hasn't lived up to expectations so far this season. Although they won the first 5 races, problems that appeared in Miami have proven bigger than expected for the Milton Keynes-based team. With the recent exits of key figures like Newey and Wheatley and internal struggles, one has to wonder if the situation can still be fixed. If it can't, will Max Verstappen consider leaving for a more stable team? The 2024 season is far from decided, especially with McLaren and Mercedes quickly closing the gap. There's a growing concern that Red Bull might drop several places in the Constructors' Championship. After extending Sergio Perez's contract, which was soon followed by Wheatley's departure, making him the second senior person to leave in just a few months after Newey, it seems Red Bull might shift focus away from the Constructors' Championship and concentrate solely on the drivers' standings. However, in recent races, Red Bull hasn't been as dominant, despite Verstappen currently leading by 78 points over Norris with 10 races remaining. Could this indicate that the team is in for a tough second half of the season? The once dominant Austrian team is definitely facing some challenging times ahead. The RB20's performance is unlikely to match its stellar show in the first 5 races, even on tracks like Silverstone, Hungary, and Spa. This was anticipated by many in the F1 community. Qualifying was impressive for Verstappen, despite his 10-place grid penalty. However, Pierre Walsh revealed that the car is not performing as they hoped, which is troubling with half the season gone and competitors like McLaren and Mercedes still chasing strong results with new upgrades. Walsh explained, "Our car isn't quite where we want it. We've definitely improved from last year, but some areas, especially in high-speed corners, haven't met our expectations. While we've made significant progress in medium and low-speed corners, we're lagging in high-speed corners compared to last year and our rivals. In curb riding, we're clearly struggling, just like we were last year. We hope to improve in this area, but it hasn't happened yet. Red Bull has more work to do. That's obvious now. Their car just can't keep up with McLaren and Mercedes on its own. Without Verstappen's exceptional driving skills, the team wouldn't be in their current position." Let's also remember that Red Bull was dominant in the first 5 races of the season up until Miami. This early success is a big reason why Verstappen is still ahead of Norris in the Drivers' Championship. On the other hand, McLaren had the fastest car since Miami, but missed some strategic opportunities. Additionally, Walsh mentioned that Red Bull's facilities and correlation issues are holding them back, similar to challenges Mercedes faced when they had a design like Red Bull's. As Pierre mentioned, some issues seem tied to the correlation. We're using an older wind tunnel, which might be affecting our performance in the championship, and the fact that this is our 3rd year under the current regulations. Still, it's clear that a lack of agreement among Red Bull members on the car's direction is causing problems. Adrian Newey was very vocal about the car's cooling system, pointing out several issues he dislikes, which won't be resolved this year, but rather the next. Unfortunately for Red Bull, they can no longer rely on Adrian's expertise. Interestingly, the team's struggles began soon after Adrian left. However, Walsh believes it has nothing to do with Adrian's departure and that the team is just going through a rough patch they'll overcome together. He went on to say that he doesn't let it bother him when the media and fans only praise Newey. What really gets to him is not winning. He doesn't care if the media gives credit to someone else. What truly matters is that everyone on the team contributes. It's not a one-man show. In reality, there are over 300 engineers working together to improve and speed up the car. Adrian played a crucial role, but it's essential for everyone to do their best. Walsh isn't the only one worried about the team losing its top spot in the Constructors' Championship. Horner has also pointed out that the next year and a half will bring intense competition between 3 or 4 teams, and we can't count Ferrari out yet. The Ferrari team has committed to fixing the bouncing issue that arose with their latest summer upgrades. Although they're not where they started the season, a few improvements could make them serious contenders against Red Bull. Despite the competition, Verstappen believes Red Bull should focus on solving their own problems. There's also buzz that he might consider switching to Mercedes, not just for better performance, but because Red Bull told him he'd get a new teammate from Zandvoort onwards. However, they later announced that Perez would stay, just a day after telling Max otherwise. Max suggests that Red Bull might do well to go back to the older RB20 version from the first 5 races. This earlier model didn't receive all the upgrades, which turned out to be less effective in boosting performance. As the 3-time world champion pointed out, there's still work to be done on the car. It's important for us to take some time to analyze everything carefully. I'm not saying we took a wrong turn after Shanghai, but we need to understand where things mattered most and see what the upgrades did to the car. At this stage, going back to the old RB20 or even the version we had before Miami isn't a good option for us. However, Verstappen's rivals have caught up. Looking at the data, it's clear he's not getting as much support from Perez in grid positioning as he should. This has hurt Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. For example, we lost 9 more points to McLaren at Spa, a track that should have favored the RB20 with its low downforce rear wing. Perez's drop from P2 to P8 in that race has definitely raised some eyebrows about the team's direction. Some people think Red Bull has already given up on 2024, especially after Marco admitted they thought it would be smooth sailing following the first 5 races. But Horner has denied these claims, emphasizing that the team's main focus is still on the car and its performance. Although they are currently leading both championships, the team is already working on the 2024 car. It's clear that they risk losing their lead in the remaining 10 races if they don't get their car to perform at its best. Max initially urged the team to step up and find more performance, but he's now shifted his attitude. The Dutchman admitted that sometimes teams have to accept that they might not be able to squeeze more performance out of the car. His new focus is on making the most of what they have. Verstappen explained, "You're always looking for more performance, but sometimes you have to be realistic. Maybe there isn't more to find, but you just try to maintain that level, even though it's really tough. We aren't robots. It's difficult not to compare ourselves to last year's performance, but that's just how it is. To compete at such a high level, it's something we might look back on 20 years from now and truly appreciate what we achieved as a team. Even if our car isn't the fastest these days, our mindset hasn't changed. We're always striving to reach that peak again." With that said, do you think Red Bull has made a mistake with the RB20? And more crucially, do you think they might lose at least one of the championships this year? Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.